Now to Washington, D.C., where security for next week's inauguration is ramping up to be the most intense in history. Members of the National Guard are posted inside and outside the U.S. Capitol and on the streets surrounding it. As many as 20,000 troops are expected to arrive in the coming days, the most ever deployed there. The public has been told to stay away. Presidential inaugurations are usually patriotic displays of the peaceful transition of power. This time, the goal is simply to get through it without any violence. Jackson Proskow reports.
Behind fences and under armed guard, the stately U.S. Capitol is now a fortress, ringed by layers of security and razor wire at a time of extreme domestic threat. The potential for violence to disrupt the inauguration is considered so high, the National Mall, where crowds would normally gather, may be closed to the public. The National Guard is on alert for improvised explosive devices and weapons. Members of Congress are urging President-elect Joe Biden to take the oath of office indoors.
I, for one, would much rather see it done inside for security purposes, in the rotunda or in the hall of the House.
Consider is laid upon the table.
The second impeachment of President Donald Trump is doing nothing to quell the anger of his loyal supporters.
I unequivocally condemn the violence.
In scripted remarks, Trump called for peace.
Violence and vandalism have absolutely no place in our country.
But he has refused to back down from his lies about a stolen election or acknowledge the legitimacy of Joe Biden's win. And Trump's closest advisors are pouring fuel onto the fire.
The Democratic Party did violence to this country by attacking a president who I believe was legally elected on November 3rd.
At the same time, the FBI warns the January 6th storming of the Capitol is seen as a rallying cry by the far right. Pro-Trump message boards are filled with calls for a repeat on Inauguration Day. It's a long-term threat that will not end with Trump's exit.
A wide-scale domestic terror movement. This is going to be a problem that's going to be with us for months and years ahead.
Private companies are now wary of being used to facilitate any future violence. Airbnb has canceled all reservations in and around the Washington area during next week's inauguration. Several airlines are taking measures as well, including banning passengers from checking guns in their checked baggage. And they're also implementing new rules that require passengers to stay seated during the last hour of the flight before arrival here in Washington. Donna?
Jackson, there's been lots of talk about who President Trump might pardon before he leaves office, that it might include himself. What do we know about that?
Plenty of speculation that a whole bunch of pardons are coming before Trump leaves office for a number of reasons. One, it lets him change the channel from all that impeachment talk of the past few days. Number two, it's a sign of his enduring power here, even in his final days in office. And number three, it's a chance for him to reinforce his agenda at the last minute by pardoning friends who've seen him through these very tough days in his administration.
Lots to watch for. Jackson Proskow in Washington, thank you.